What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as his tried and true Odin, back on the main, back on the bicycle, as it were. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Hades. Back on the Hades bandwagon after a little bit of a stopover at Rapl. Kimo is going after the Greeks yet again. And yes, this is indeed Kimo. We've got two of the best for you here. Shoutcast Sunday. If you guys are on YouTube, it might not be Sunday, but you should definitely get around the idea of hanging out in the Twitch on this Sunday. It's a fun time. We can always have a lot of laughs and a lot of ridiculously good plays. So, Hades versus Odin on Tundra. We've got a relic over here. What is, oh my God, a disgusting relic to be seen at the start of the game here for Kimo. He's already got the Hades bonus here of plus 700 hit points. It's plus 25% hit points. And then you add on the Nose of the Sphinx, an extra 15% hit points. My golly gosh, you are not losing buildings this game at all if your name is Kimo and you are playing Hades. Rapl, on the other hand, he has not found his relic just yet. He's going to have no idea what is coming for him, and there is going to be no real way for him to deny that Nose of the Sphinx here in the early game, unless he potentially gets a Hearser out, the Raven spots it before the early Ajax comes. It's not going to happen. Nose of the Sphinx is coming straight in to Kimo. He has found his own relic over here. Ooh, and he does get the Cathara of Apollo. These are both very, very high tier relics to have, and I love seeing the relics that are both very good spawning. It's kind of underwhelming when you get those low tier relics come in, or one person gets one good relic, the other person gets a bad relic. This is why I am all for a relic reform. A little bit of a relic rebalancing would be very cool. But we'll see how this game is going to go. Odin versus Hades on Tundra. Lots to talk about. What do you do here as Odin? So generally speaking here, Odin is not really able to do a lot of what Odin wants to do against Greek in the early game, because Hades has just got the Sentinels. He could even upgrade the towers, and essentially Hades is just going to want to sit back, play nice and defensive, and try and survive the heroic age. Basically survive the frost, survive the timings. If Hades can survive the timings, a lot of the time he's going to be in a very good position. So we'll see if that's what's going to happen here or not. Rapl, on the other hand, needs to kind of think about when he wants to hit the timing. Generally speaking, hitting some sort of heroic age shenanigans is going to be really, really good. We are seeing a very, very forward tempo. So if there's any chance that Rapl can spot and take this relic, it's going to be this game. Thank you so much for the 4 months, Grid Runner. Appreciate you very, very much here. As temple's going up, the wall's coming up, the second storehouse is coming down. Always important to do that against the Odin. Now, there is another way to play this matchup, which I actually think is possibly the correct way for Hades to play this matchup, and it's to go through Ares. Now, given this gold mine is exposed, given all the golds are going to be forward, go very, very fast to the second age, some sort of like 4-minute advance time here for Hades. Not only do you get access to Hades Shades, which effectively are free units, you get an extra 25% unit kind of value. So you want to fight as much as you can in the classical age, but that's not what's happening here. We see Athena, we see 5 villagers or 6 villagers on the gold. We've got 5 villagers on the wood. This is looking like a far second town center for Kimo, and Kimo is just going to be playing incredibly safe here in this game, it seems. Now, Rapl, on the other hand, he's going through Freya, no crazy Heimdall shenanigans. We do see the Hearser walking over. He spots the relic. Will he actually click on it or not? He does click on it. Oh, Kimo's going to be spewing. That is such a big relic that Kimo's missing out on here. as Rapl going to take that home. We see the longhouse coming up right in the middle of the map, grabbing that early map control. The Valkyrie is out, going to be looking for some sort of early pressure here onto Kimo, as Kimo is simply put just getting his town center up. He's got his Minotaur over here. He has not got himself his Ajax out just yet. No Chiron. No real way to repel this Valkyrie if we're completely honest here. The villagers drop off that gold. We see a little bit of a Zom action coming in as the forest fire comes in. Kimo does retreat away, and it looks like the villager will get to safety here. No. Up. Very close. Good micro from Kimo, almost losing the villager. But no villager kills there for Rapl. Just a little bit of delay in the wood economy, as we are also seeing the Ursa going to be walking in here, going to try and deny this location here. The villagers might have to get pulled off, and in fact, this town center could very well be denied here. It's looking like it's still going up, even with all the units here. The Ajax comes in, the town center gets up. Kimo's completely fine here. He's got 8 villagers on food, which is actually enough for 2 town center production, just a little bit under if it's not hunt, so you need 9 or 10 villagers on like herdables or berries or something like that in order to make that work, but not what's happening. He's kind of fine at this point. Rapl now needs to think about, well, okay, my opponent went 2 town centers. What are my options now? His options are, do I chase with a second town center? Do I go for a heroic age timing? And we are seeing the armory coming down, so this is very, very much indicating Rapl wants to hit the heroic age. The question here is, though, does he go Njord? Does he go for Skadi? Njord in this situation is completely fine. I actually think Njord is a good pick when your Greek opponent goes for these fast second town centers, because you can punish this, you can kill this with those trees, with the mountain giant, and the fact that we have a forward temple here could definitely make that the case. But it's kind of looking like even after the armory, we decided to cancel the armory in favor of grabbing this town center as the raiding cavalry riding straight in. However it is. Thank you so much for the raid as well, Antos. Appreciate you, my friend. Hope your stream went well. And now we will be seeing these raiding cavalry looking for some kind of damage somewhere, but there is none to be had. Luckily for him, these sentinels are completely drunk and can't hit anything at all. So town center is in fact going up, so Rapl is opting for something a little bit more safe, though he has taken the forward town center and in fact Kimo's 3rd town center, so we'll see how that's going to go for him. Now Kimo slowly transitioning into the farms, already with 16 villagers on wood. Let's check out his economic upgrades. No hand axe, no pickaxe. It's actually completely standard here for the Hades players and everything else that goes on there. But like, I could just imagine like an 8 minute 30 even heroic age from Rapl here. There's no way to defend that timing. There's no way. You're going to be losing a town center. But not happening. Not what's going on. Town center pushing the raiding cavalry away, and now Rapl is slowly getting those dwarves out, wanting to start grabbing this forward gold over here. One thing that I would like to see a lot more of from our Norse brethren is, especially against this Greek 2 town center kind of greedy play, is getting some early walls down. Come in here, wall this off. Come over here, wall this off, wall this off, wall this off, wall this off, and just completely take control of the map. There's no reason not to. It doesn't cost that much. If you are going for a timing that is completely different, you need all the resources you can to hit the timing as fast as you possibly can. But for the most part, if you go for a fast second town center, that gold income is going to be completely fine. But it is looking like Rapl will hit a decent heroic age nonetheless. And Kimo, on the other hand, he's just starting to get himself out those military academies, archery ranges. Guess what? I love this. I absolutely love this. There's no stables here. There's no stables because guess what? Rapl doesn't have archers. Yes. Yes, Kimo needs to do this because it's going to allow him to go easily into those Haspest and also easily back into more hoplites. So I love this here from Kimo as Rapl retreating away. And we do see the resources for that heroic age coming in. And I don't think we have it. We do have an armory, and there is the Skadi indeed. So no Njord. I think that Njord is a mistake most of the time here. If you go for the timing, it's really good. And we are seeing those walls finally coming up for Rapl after he clicks up to the heroic age. And I mean, I think he could have been getting this beforehand, but so long as he gets them up, it doesn't really matter because this gets him control of the map. But right now, Kimo's got units, so Kimo can stop these little nitpicky one unit throwing up a wall. And you could see that timing was about 7:30 to 8:30 in this situation. If your opponent is staying in their base, playing nice and defensive, getting farms, those walls can come up at that 7-minute to 8-minute kind of 8:30 location without any risk. But we are seeing Kimo pushing out here, maybe a little bit aggressive at this point considering Rapl has been on the hunt this entire time. So there's obviously going to be a lot more units here for Rapl. It's 82 population to 85 population though. So Kimo producing very nicely, but there's 800 food, 500 gold that has gone straight into the heroic age for Rapl. So he's got the Frost Giant as well. He's got Frost. He's got everything, and Kimo is just going to be trying to push out, trying to get a little bit of damage done. A little bit of cheeky raiding cavalry pestering here from Rapl, but he is not able to get in. Kimo controlling just a little bit too good at this point. So we see the armies just kind of pushing back and forth, doing their thing. We do see one raiding cavalry able to snipe a Toxotes here. So getting a little bit of value there before retreating away. And love that, as we do see some villagers coming over here onto this gold mine. The walls slowly coming up over here. We see medium raiders through for Rapl as well, as his economy is starting to balloon here in this game. Hoplites falling, straggler units falling very, very nice. We do see a throwing axeman getting picked off here. And that is the denial of the attempted walls from Rapl. But he is still picking off units. He still hasn't lost one of those raiding cavalry here. We do see a stray Chiron taking a little bit of damage on here as well. I would love to see Rapl attempt to snipe that one off just to help that Frost Giant be a little bit more annoying. As we see the Huskal are out. Throwing Axeman Huskal is such a strong composition against the classical Greek army. And we are seeing Rapl doing that nicely. Kimo, on the other hand, he's still not able to click up. He's got full population here. He's got his armory over here. We see some raids coming over here onto these villages. The villagers do have their husbandry, do have their plow, do have their hand axe, do have their pickaxe, but definitely struggling to get those resources up to the next age. We see a big frost over here, but not hitting any villagers with this. So this is what I like to call the lowest possible value frost, or the best possible situation for the Hades player, because you didn't hit the villages, you just hit the army. You're gonna have to get frosted at some point. You can't avoid that, and no matter what, Rapl's getting some value here. So he's going to do his best. And while this is going on, Kimo's just going to keep pumping units out. He's going to get those Hades Shades as well. And while this is going on, these raids are being very, very annoying. As not only this, but Rapl's actually come forward. He's drawn a market up. This is going to be a super early Mythic Age as well from Rapl. I love it. 2 town centers, Mythic Age, tier, Fimple Winter, huge damage. Take the map control, take the economic advantage, and go from there. There's also an option here for Rapl to maybe go Balder at this point as well, which could be game ending. But I do know that he much prefers to go with the Fimble Winter rather than Balder in this matchup. So we see the restoration coming down as the Frost Giant does get picked off. The army of Rapl pulling back, has a whole bunch of those Huskal coming in now. This is a little bit to do with the micro. You do need to get those Huskal to be targeting Toxotes. Don't allow them to target those hoplites. We see heavy infantry coming through for Rapl as well here, as this army is going to be completely making mincemeat of the Hades army at this point in the game. Those Hades Shades, you also want to avoid targeting them. You don't get bonus damage. They're not classified as infantry. They are just a unit that is effectively weak to nothing. It is weak to nothing, but it's 20% hack armor, 20% PS armor, 110 HP. It's just a unit that kind of exists. So those throwing axe and counter units are really bad against it, but everything that is not a counter unit is decent against it. So anything with high damage is good against those Hades Shades. So you want to just micro a little bit. But right now, I feel like Kimo's getting away with murder. He's 130 of 130 population. He's going up through Apollo, but Rapl has got this window that he's got heavy infantry. He's got the advantage. He just needs to push. But he's taken the foot off the pedal. We see Tier coming in. We see the town center getting grabbed here as well. Rapl is throwing walls up on this location here, making sure that gold mine is getting denied. We do have this gold mine. Imagine forest fire here. Just saying he could blast through into this position and push off the gold, but not available because he's used said god power already. Now, Kimo over here, he's ready to go to the Mythic Age. So he's going to be chasing. He's going to be chasing this heroic age. Very, very nice. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hephaestus here. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Apollo, the underworld, being the key factor here for Kimo to get himself a third town center, to get himself into a position where he can start beating the Norse army. And we'll see how that's going to go. There's the Apollo. Kimo is immediately getting himself medium infantry. Not just yet. Not just getting anything else. We don't see fortified town centers. Nothing really immediately happening. Huge I don't like this underworld at all. Even if he picks off 20 villages here, this is not it for Kimo. He's not going to get a town center from this. He's got no siege. He's got nowhere to go. Is he going Mythic Age? No, he's getting fortified town centers. He's getting this archery upgrades. He's getting the heavy archers, heavy infantry. Winter gets thrown down. They're throwing axemen, getting huge damage down onto this position here. We do see that Manticore going to be doing a whole bunch right now as well. Rapl has 100 favor in the bank. He can go in with Fenris. Is it Fenris Wolfbrood spam here if he wants to. He can go in with Frost Giant spam here if he wants to. He can spend whatever he wants. He can get those Brave Huskarls straight away. He can get Berserker Gang, Ulfsarks out. He's got so many options at this point. But I guess that raid did a little bit of damage here, and Rapple's now short on the population, short on the resources as well. But so too is Kimo. Kimo lost some houses here, it seems, as well, as we see champion infantry coming through for Rapl. That is huge, getting that advantage. The difference between champion infantry and like heavy infantry is a big one, because you're actually getting 20% extra hit points, damage, something like that. One of those two. So you get a lot more basically from that. So there's a big jump between champion and heavy. As we see Rapl getting up to 4th town center. He's got the map control. He's got the town center advantage. Kimo has the underworld right now in a decent position. So what Kimo probably could consider doing is throwing some units through here, getting a fortress down on this position. But right now we see the couple of units trying to deny the town center, but we're too late in doing that. And it's going to be tough here for Kimo. We'll see how he's going to be able to hold on. Bunch of villagers popping out now for Rapl, trying to get that economy up to a 180 population kind of satisfactory level. So when you're on 3 town centers, just getting to about 80 villages, 90 villages here for the Odin is pretty good, kind of fine. But once you go up to 180, you kind of want to go to 100 villages, 115 villages, 120 villages to make sure you can support all of that extra population space plus the technologies. We're even seeing some Jarls coming in. They are only Ulf Jarls at this point, but he does need those in order to deal with those Hephaestus. Jarls are a very good option against those Hephaestus. A natural progression through the game as well, where you go for Huskarl throwing axemen, and then your opponent goes, well, I have to make a Hephaestus. So then you go, well, now I've got my farm set up. I can start making my Jarl. It makes a lot of sense. And then the kind of counter compositions start coming through. But we do see the fortress is up right now. For Kimo, he's held on to this position. Rapple's 138 of 160 population here. Kimo's 140 of 140 pop, but still doesn't have that much food in the bank. He does have irrigation, but without having access to the Mythic Age, you can't get flood control, even with 28 villages on food. Still struggling where that is concerned, and Rapl just takes the foot off the gas a little bit. I would love to see him chop through this forest as fast as he possibly can, just to deny any sort of Petropolis siege onto this town center. There is some scariness on this forest as well, so both of these town centers are a little bit difficult to defend. One way to get around this is to just make sure you can wall this off nice and early, but obviously we didn't see that happening, and we have seen a nice attempt over here from Rapl as well to try and get in onto this position. But at this point, Rapl is simply just trying to get his economy sorted, trying to get that farm transition after having eaten all the food on the map. We do see an armory getting taken down, and we do see over here a couple of stray raids coming in. I like this from Kimo. This heavy hoplite is absolutely huge. Kimo's got the Hades shader, so he's already got himself copper weapons and copper mail. So those are very, very strong. And now Rapl trying to retreat away, but he's just lost a lot out of this. And he continues to lose more. And how's the economic upgrades looking for Rapl? He's got himself Shaft Mine, not bad. He's got himself Widow Harvest. He's got himself Plow, so his food economy is going to be pretty decent. Trying to get himself up to irrigation would be helpful, but he definitely needs to think about a trade route here. Given he's got the Winter Harvest, he can get that trade route going, get up a little bit more in the resources. In the population, but he still does not have himself fortified town centers, so he's kind of sitting at that 160 and completely fine. Lots of idle villagers over here could move forward and take this gold mine at this point, but Rapl not paying attention, and Kimo is slowly but surely solidifying himself in the middle of the map. There is still this underworld passage, and I'm still surprised to see Kimo not just send some units forward here. He does have a lot of resources in the bank right now. Send some villagers in here and just spam out a whole bunch of buildings, put some walls in, take this corner of the map. That kind of stuff is absolutely huge. But Artemis coming in right now for Kimo. He's going to be able to earthquake this location or this location and then get a huge push. He still needs to get all those upgrades, catch up on the champion archers, champion infantry, all of that good stuff. Essentially is pure archers right now. More buildings getting thrown down by Kimo. He's also got himself the Chimera here. One thing I would love to see with this Chimera is just jump through that underworld passage and start looking for some raids. The villagers running back onto this gold mine over here. Over here as well, we see huge raids coming through for Kimo, making a lot out of these minuscule raids, these tiny raids with just a couple of units, really causing a lot of pressure here onto Rappl's villagers. One of the hardest things about playing Norse is finding the time to send one infantry unit over to just make sure that you secure your resources with some walls, because one or two units does so much. There's all the champion upgrades coming through for Kimo. He's got everything he needs right now, and the only problem is he doesn't have population. That's the only thing he's lacking. But Rapl still can't support himself at 180 of 180 pops. So Kimo's got a chance here. He's going to be trying to push through. He's got his Heliopolis. I would love to see Kimo not go for this town center, but utilize the underworld that he's cast nearly 5 minutes ago and go after this town center here. Because the army is not there. He'd have to run all the way over there. And are we seeing this now from Kimo? It looks like that's exactly what we're seeing. He's jumping into that underworld. He's got that Heliopolis. There was a second one here somewhere, but it looks like he's moving over onto here. Going to try and take out the hill fort, as we are seeing. The classic Rapl ballista. These ballista are scratching the Hades town center right now. He's got himself masons already and everything else. Big earthquake onto the hometown center of Rapl. There's so many farms here that are going to be denied. 16 farms. And now Kimo will be able to have himself his third town center if he can hold on to this town center. But it is a lot of technically idle villagers repairing the town center while this is going up. So Kimo does have to deal with this. He has managed to take out that hill fort. There's not too many units over here. One frost giant on this position is enough to really stop these Heliopoli. It's really important. It's a big, big counter to the Heliopoli for the Norse player. Yeah, still seeing more units pumping through here. The Achilles is tanking for days, but will eventually fall. Villagers getting pulled off this gold mine, going to be coming through. There's gold over here. He can grab this gold as well if he needs to get another gold mine. These villagers are going to be making themselves make their way onto this town center. He's got not enough gold, not enough wood to get it at this point. Still 140 of 140 population. We've got this stone walls coming through for Rapl as well, as still these ballista are scratching the town center. If this was 3 catapult, town center would be dead long time ago. But given Norse ballistas, especially without engineers, once you get engineers, they start, and maybe burning pitch gives a little bit of a boost, but they really start dealing damage at that point. But not at this point here. And Kimo's defending that nicely here, especially getting out those Petropolis, a couple of infantry units to push through once the towers are all dealt with, and it should be all good here. Small frost giant swinging through for Rapl, dealing with the infantry of of Kimo, more villagers coming through, and he does end up stealing this gold mine over here. And Rapl might not be aware that this is even possible, but I mean, he's got it all scouted. In a way, he just can't see the villagers because he doesn't have the tower close enough to the underworld. As we see another raid over here, the villagers getting a little bit angry about these raids as he shanks the units away. A couple of very low HP units remaining. But Kimo's playing that one nicely here. There's more units piling in here. Lots of these frost giants. Maybe time to... Well, Rapl's got 4 villagers on food. He's got 4 villagers on food. Losing this town center was absolutely huge because it's all of his farming economy. So Kimo made a really, really nice play there to target that. Maybe unintentional, but now we see the forward walls of Rapl getting, and the forward push getting completely thwarted here. Kimo can push back, be completely fine. We do see over here now, though, that the legendary Jarl is in. The Frost Giant is here. These villagers mining this gold mine are not long for this world at all. Obviously, you can keep sending units through this underworld to defend here, as we are seeing some more villagers coming in. But still more raids onto Rapl's gold up here. Rapl has got such a difficult time in front of him just to get that economy under wraps. And now we're starting to see some of those raiding cavalry coming in. He's got himself the Thundering Hooves as well. So they're nice and speedy, nice and tanky. Same too are those legendary Jarl. And we'll see if Rapl is at any point going to be able to take down these underworld passages here. And meanwhile, we see over here the Ulfsarks coming in. Do we have Berserker Gang? No, we do not. Doesn't matter though, because these villagers are going to drop like flies to them. They do so much damage. 12.6 damage per second. The Jarl doing 12.6 damage per second as well. But a couple of units coming in here now for Kimo as the army of Rapl decides to retreat just a little bit. He could easily turn around and take this fight. We do see a cheeky wall coming in here to sort this underworld situation out, as we also see a stray portable ram going to come in, try and take this one down. Villagers moving forward onto this gold mine. Rapl's got to be asking himself why he didn't mine this gold mine first and instead was up here, because he hasn't been able to mine this gold for quite some time. Kimo's economy is still looking okay. Does he have all of his upgrades? Just about. Just missing those carpenters. It's not the biggest of upgrades anyways. Armies still fighting each other over here as we see a Chimera coming in for Kimo. Has to deal with that Frost Giant first, but it's looking like it will indeed be falling, as the Frost Giant might be able to, the Chimera might be able to tilt this fight a little bit in the favor, but it looks like he might just be going for some raids, jump through the underworld passage and look for something to target down. So we see this wall still not quite finished off. This Ulfsark will be able to deal with this villager, but we do see the Chimera coming in to finish that one off. And the wall does get denied for the time being. We've even got some cheeky farms up here for Rapl that have been found by Kimo. This is why you make the effort to send them home. But still lots of cows. Still has this forest here that Kimo could be using. But at this point, lots of fighting in the middle. Trying to hold on to everything. Now we see a fortress up on this position to try and hold this gold mine. Kimo, he is still mining from this gold mine. He can still move up and start stealing this gold mine, though there's only 91 gold left in it. There's a gold mine over here as well, which Rapl is currently mining from, that Kimo could potentially steal for himself, but there is still plenty of gold on this map. Neither player starting a trade route, neither player any intention of doing so either, it seems. Unless I'm mistaken that Kimo started one. No, his market is up. He's going to be opening up this this wall that was thrown down early here by just dealing with the wood line. Very nice play there. We still don't see this underworld passage dealt with, and the Chimera has come in and will be denying the town center yet again. So still no town center up here. Kimo trying to get up a fortress. One Jarl could potentially be enough to deal with these villages, but he's instead going to be opting to send the Jarl over to try and deal with that Chimera. He does get bonus damage against myth units, so he should be able to deal with that one eventually here. But both players still very low on the food. We see some portable rams coming somewhere for Rapl. I'm not sure what his idea is here with the portable rams. I think that it would be much more beneficial to just go with those brave Huskar. He's got 3 3 population each, so you would be able to get 3 Huskarl to send in and start dealing with the fortress. And then he basically needs to put in Huskarl, a Paspis to defend, and then you can just run away, throw walls up and throw buildings up and live the dream. But maybe the portable rams will go unnoticed. They haven't been unnoticed, but the shades will not be enough to take these out just yet. And we do have some champion Huskarl coming in, and they do have bravery as well, so they will be able to help take this down very, very quickly. So nice play there. Meanwhile, whole bunch of units coming in onto this position as the fortress comes up. The Chimera still ending up living here, 82 HP remaining, just about to fall as more Jarl coming in onto this one, but the hoplites are enough to deal with this. As we do indeed see the Chimera falling, more units coming over for Rapl. We're just going to try and clean this up, push back. Now what Kimo can do is set up here, fortress on this location, Petropolis here, take this town center back, and that's what he wants. As he's starting to throw some towers up over here to try and hold on to this gold mine, it is very, very important for Kimo to do that. Meanwhile, over here we see some raids onto Rapl's gold still. Rapl's gold villagers have not been having a good time of it at all. He's just about to finish up on this gold mine, and then he's going to have to come all the way over here. He's got this gold, but yeah, not a good time at all. Meanwhile, the full army, the full force of Rapl's armies going after the underworld of Kimo. Going to finally deal with this underworld, and then he's going to be able to get his town center back. But that is a lot of time now for Kimo to push back and try and get himself one of these town centers down here. So we'll see if that's going to happen. He's got the Heliopolis here. Kimo is sitting at 137 of 140 population. Longhouse gets dealt with. Heliopolis is going to be able to pick up a house or two as well. Love that. That's going to slow Rapl down a little bit as well as just a couple of units. Look, these, we're repairing a farm. It's very important to repair your farms. So that one's going to go up. Town Center's going to be fine. But the question is, will Rapl be able to get over here in time? These champion raiders, they get a bonus against siege. 100% bonus against siege. So they're doing 22 damage in a shot. Basically against the Heliopolis here. So that will be falling very, very quickly. So you do have to be careful about that as the Greek player. When you see those raiding cavalry coming in, town center does not end up getting taken down. This forest has finally been opened up enough such that it's not too much of a scary position. This forest is still scary here, especially if Kimo can get in on either of these sides with a fortress. But at this point, it's basically raiding cavalry against hoplites, which is an interesting position in the unit changing kind of thing, or however this works. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but Watchtower is up. There's no crenellations here for Kimo, so the towers aren't very useful at this point. So we'll see how it's all going to go. Jarl's coming forward, going to try and take down the villages, do everything that they possibly can to cause some chaos in Kimo's base. Kimo's still with a little bit of gold in the bank, but these raids are still coming in hot, still dealing with Rapl's economy. Is he still building villages? Yes, he is. He's getting villages everywhere. He's got very few, it looks like, currently working, but he's at 180 of 180 population, taking this fight here. Very nice fight for Kimo, to be honest, because it's hoplite against, or infantry against cavalry. What we know. It's good for the infantry, right? So now Rapl has to go into throwing action, which he is doing. So then Kimo has to keep on swapping his own army. But at this point, Rapl is just mightily, handedly holding on to town centers. Meanwhile, we see the fortress over here. We've got the map hacking Raven showing Rapl what is going on over here, saying, this gold mine is mine. As we see villagers moving over here. Rapl needs that gold mine. The market is up. The trade route is starting. So Rapl will be able to start this trade route. I would love to see this Olsak. Walls. Make sure that there's not going to be any sort of shenanigans in onto your trade route. It's very important. We know this from the Egyptian players. We know this from the Greek players. We even know this from the Atlantean players. It is no different for the Norse players. As we see some units now going to be making their way up onto this position, but you basically need those Huskarl to come in and take this out, as we are seeing a cheeky wall coming in, some more buildings coming up for Kimo as he's trying to solidify this position as best as he possibly can. Doesn't actually end up finishing the wall as the army does manage to sneak in. Going to be going after that fortress very, very quickly. As we do see these Frost Giants, the Thrym Frost Giant has come in. Thrym is the upgrade, and he will be starting to take out these Heliopolis very, very nicely. This is exactly how the Skadi kind of saves you in this matchup against the Greek. Generally speaking, if you go through, if you don't have Skadi and you don't have Hell, you have no answer to the very, very stock standard army composition of the Greek. In the Heliopoli just tanks so much, and you can't really deal with it without raiding cavalry, and then the hoplites deal with raiding cavalry, and essentially it's just, you want to go infantry Heliopoli if you can. And these Frost Giants completely prevent that from being a true kind of death ball composition, unable to be defeated. So nice play from Rapl to notice that, and he's going to be able to push back very nicely here. We do see the Perseus has come in. This is a very, very strong hero. However, very, very glass cannon. We'll be able to one-hit those Frost Giants every, what is it, 26 seconds, 23 seconds? I can never remember. 24 seconds, but gets picked off very, very quickly with only 468 HP compared to, like, everything else. The Ajax is a little bit less HP, right? The Chiron here, a little bit less, but even, like, Achilles might have more HP than the Perseus. He's a sad little boy, that's for sure. As we're starting to see those walls coming up over here, we see the fortress getting taken out. The Frost Giant going to be able to help that one nicely here. And do we have this upgrade here for Rapl? He does have Signal Fires. Signal Fires is such a huge upgrade. You can see how much of the map he sees with Signal Fires. Excuse me. So just filling in these buildings is super important. But now we see a huge push through for Kimo. It's looking like he's actually able to push in. He's dealt with all those Frost Giants, and now the Heliopoli make the push, and Kimo is able to get in here, takes the town center down. He is very much struggling for resources at this point. We haven't really got a trade route set up here. He still has this gold mine. He's got 1,200 gold left in it, but Kimo is struggling for resources. He's 140 of 140 population. Rapl is 165 of 165 pop. He has thrown up the wall over here, but losing this town center is absolutely huge. So what can Rapl do now? He can go in with a sort of villager Ragnarok, converting those villages into Ulfsark. Just grab 10 or 15 once he has the resources, walk up, click the button, and push through these Toxotes, especially if you have Berserker Gang. But at this point, this is tough for Rapl because Kimo's got the army comp he wants, and he's got the town center down. So it's just a matter of time here for Kimo to grab this town center back. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do it. We'll see if maybe Rapple's got an idea to kind of put himself somewhere else on the map that's important here. Like he's throwing up towers over here and everything as he's trying to hold this corner, which is good because it's going to kind of deny any sort of trade route shenanigans from Kimo, but he can't let Kimo get this town center, basically. So we'll see how that's going to go. Still has this 17 HP Perseus remaining. And we do see it getting sniped. We've got the villagers walking in now, trying to get the town center up, and Rapl still not comfortable taking this fight. He's got 70. He's got 70 villagers on wood. 70.
Yeah.
He starts deleting the dwarves. He's deleting his dwarves. I don't think you should delete the dwarves. I think you should be making converting Ulfsark, because you can push yourself above the population cap by a little bit. It's one of the few very, very good things here for the Norse in the late game, or kind of the mid-late game, I guess, just before you get to the true late game. Villagers get the town center up, and now Kimo is in a fantastic position. The problem for Kimo, trade route, 45 gold a trip, not that many donkey caravans at all. He does have an incredibly strong composition right now, but Rapl has managed to get out enough Huskal here that these Toxotes are not scary anymore at all. He's going to be able to tear through these. And because Rappel's set up a trade route already, he's going to be able to make the push happen. And Kimo is not. Kimo is 142 of 160 pop. And he's not able to support this kind of trade just yet. We do see a cheeky Heliopolis coming through, going to try and take down the stone walls here. I would love to see these villagers getting pulled off and just shanking this one down, but not paying attention to it just yet, as his Rapl's units are pushing through, able to take down a lot of what Kimo's got here, but Kimo now going to be repopulating his army with those Hypaspis. I keep calling them Huskar. They are Hypaspis. Very, very nice, nice army changing stuff. Exactly, that's good English. Me good. Me speak well. You see the villagers coming over. He could jump onto this gold mine. He knows it's here. There's no way that he's even got a top. Put this on here. Don't let Kimo get that, because that's actually huge. If Kimo can be on that gold mine, it's huge. You see the Huskar going to be darting around the army. These Huskar move quickly. 5.0 speed compared to the Hoplite, which is 4.2 speed, or the Toxote, which is 4.2 speed. So these Huskar get in quickly. They're going to go for some kind of a snipe here. Did we end up seeing... Rapl still does have the nose of the Sphinx. Okay, so he comes in. He's going to snipe the fortress very quickly before having to leave here. So Hypaspis catch up. And there is a world where he can just kind of ring around the rosy here, return back over onto this town center, get some damage done, kind of treat the Huskar a little bit like a Titan or something running around the map. As we do see the army of Kimo making their way in, spotting these ox caravans. The markets get deleted. There is another market somewhere else on the map, I believe, here for Rapl. There it is here, very, very close to his hometown center, or his trade town center. And these Huskar still getting chased around, as Rapl is going to try and return the gold damage onto this market here. I think Rapl sees it as well, because he's got the stone wall upgrade. Gives yourself a little bit of line of sight on your walls as well, so the market will get torn down very quickly. And in fact, we are seeing immediate hill fort here. I would like to see a wall get thrown up to deny this. We see the deletion of the market nice and early from Kimo. As we see the watchtowers spam coming through for Rapl. I like how far he's building these watchtowers away from Kimo's town center, and Kimo doesn't really see it. He doesn't see it at all. So these are going to be set up, and then Rapl can push forward. There's going to be very little hope for Kimo to deal with this easily. So nice play here from Rapl for sure. See a whole bunch of units coming in. No real attempt at a market over here for Rapl. I don't know. No, he does have a market over here. There we go. So nice play from Rapl to reorganize his trade route. Gets his gold economy going yet again. Oop, and we see the temple getting taken down. Huge relic here for the taking. No Herser out for Rapl at all. And we'll see if Kimo is going to notice that. But this one here helps out those towers a ton. 15% extra HP on those towers helps them out a lot. We also see these markets up now for Kimo, as Rapl simply just going to walk over here, get some of those Huskar to take these down. They take a long time to kill 3 markets, but it's a good idea to get over there. More walls coming up here by Rapl as well. Taking control of the corner, very big. So we are starting to see the Hypaspis raids still continuing in this game. Very, very strong play here from Kimo, continuing to put that pressure on. And you might say to me, well, at this point, Rapple's just won the game because his score's so far ahead. But no, that's not actually how the late game works. Having more score generally doesn't mean anything. It just means that maybe you're closer to getting to the Titan, to a Titan or something. You have more resources in the bank. Essentially, you want to have a lower score most of the time, so long as you can support whatever army you need, the full population of your army. Because the lower score just means you've got less economy coming in. So if you can support your army, it means you've got more population, it means you're doing more damage to your opponent, it means you can be able to get more stuff done and potentially get a win. So right now, Rapl maybe, just maybe, he's over economized, and we are seeing a very, very nice attempt here from Rapl to get in onto this position, utilizing those Norse builders, those infantry units that are only available to Norse. This is what Norse late game is nothing to be. He's very, very strong. Norse late game is very strong if you don't play it like a Ra player. Get around the map, cause chaos. Look at all chaos over here. We've already got all these walls in here. We've got a longhouse here, so a potential Ulfsar can come in to build a whole bunch of walls while this is all going on. But the Pacifist still wrecking havoc on Rappl's villagers. Very, very nice by continuing to put that pressure on. Meanwhile, the infantry of Kimo able to smash through the infantry of Rapl. Rapl now needs to go back in onto those raiding cavalry. But we do see a whole bunch of these ballasts are out now. They're now engineered ballasts. Look at the engineers. It gets an extra 2.3 pierce damage, 1.3 crush damage. Now, 1.3 crush damage is actually equal to 3.9 or 4 damage per second. Maybe, is it 4 ballasts that they shoot? Four things. So it's close to like 5 extra damage per shot here, or second, one of the two per second. So it's a whole bunch more damage. Super worth it to get engineers. And you do see the resulting chaos dealt onto this town center by this. And now we're starting to see some Gastrophedes coming out for Kimo to try and take down these towers. But Rappl's done the damage now. He does only have 15 villagers on food. I'm surprised to see that because he's got a lot of villagers on wood. And he does need that food out in order to get those raiding cavalry to deal with these Pacifists. But not happening just yet. We do see a stray Chimera here able to deny the wall for the time being, but with some Gastrophedi here, these are going to be able to deal with these walls nicely. However, the Ballaster actually can deal with Gastrophedis fairly quickly in of themselves. We do see one getting sniped down, but the Hades Shades just simply wandering through here as well very, very easily. Meanwhile, Heliopolis is coming in to try and take down the hill fort. We see the town center coming back up by Kimo. Rapl not able to prevent that one from going back up here because he's running out of resources completely in this game. Kimo, on the other hand, still kind of got his resources all sorted. Down center is just about to pop back up, and he manages to live another day here in this game. See the watchtower getting taken down as well, as this location is very important here. I'd love to see Kimo come over here with a fortress, get a whole bunch of buildings, just throw them up. Essentially, late game is just spam buildings everywhere and pray. A lot of the time, that's what it is, mind you. We see how it goes normally. But with the Pacifist and the Gastrophedi comp here from Kimo. Love this. I've always said, Gastrophedi, they are legit. They are very speedy, 3.99 speed. They do roughly the same amount of damage as a Heliopolis, if not more sometimes, depending on how many you have. And they completely shred buildings. As Rapl is trying to defend here, he's now starting to get those legendary Jarls out, so they're going to be able to push back very, very nicely. But Rapl, he's got a lot of resources now in the bank. He's just short on the gold. Still, his trade is good, so he's able to get all the stuff out, losing houses on the front. He's get those houses somewhere a little bit better. Stray polar bear picks off a villager. Feels bad, man. You just can't win. And we do see a barracks now starting to do this. You can put these Olfsark into the barracks as well. So you can train the Olfsark such that they go into the barracks, get 5 Olfsark out, and then spam these walls up as fast as you possibly can. One Olfsark might not be enough, and it also might pop out and then start picking off these villagers here. But right now, Kimo is just trying to slow push. He gets everything he has. We're starting to see more walls coming up. We've got the patented Kimo walls. Unnecessary. It's fine. Whatever. I'm still seeing more raids onto Rappel's trade route. He has managed to get this market up in the corner here. But with the military academies here, we are seeing a Herso come through to try and deal with this Chimera. Do we still see that relic? Shake my head. Shake my head. Rappel's still like short at a house somewhere. He needs to throw that up. You see some cheeky towers coming up here by Rapl. If he gets these up, it'd be pretty funny. You can wall in first and then tower. It's much, much safer. See the Gastrophedi's taking down the temple here. Nice play from Kimo, still making that push happen. He's getting closer and closer to the hometown center of Rapl. Rapl trying to hold on. So I have to be careful with these Gastrophedis. They're expensive and they die very quickly to the Pacifist. And there's no longer so many Pacifists here, so these Huskal stay alive for quite some time. We do see... Tower just about to come up. No. 1 Hypaspist. 2 Hypaspist. Whack. Smack. Crack-a-lack. Watchtower's up. Okay, so a little bit of cheeky shenanigans here from Rapl, but I think this will get dealt with fairly easily. Seems like it will. And we are seeing yet again another attempt at moving in onto this location. We see another hill fort up actually here for Rapl. I like this because, I mean, he probably doesn't have himself levy. Yeah, he doesn't have himself levy. So these ballasts are trained pretty slowly. So getting a second hill fort up will be very, very big. You see the attempted shift of the battlefield here from Kimo going after the third town center of Rapl here. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold on. So the town center goes down very, very quickly. And if Norse loses their town center, it's not like the Greeks losing their town center or the Egyptians. It's very hard to rebuild as a Norse, but you should be able to defend it a little bit easier, I think, most of the time. As we do see the Jarls coming forward, trying to deal with these Gastrophetes as best they can, but not able to take them down very quickly at all. We're still seeing the town center falling very quickly. More towers coming up over here. Unfortunately, the watchtower is targeting a storehouse. And we do see the Ulsark gets in and start getting this wall up. These Hades Shades can no longer make their way into this position. So even though we see the town center falling here for Rapl, he's still going to be able to continue putting pressure onto Kimo because the walls are up, so the ballista can start targeting this town center down. This is dicey though, as we're starting to see towers getting thrown up for Kimo. He's going to be trying to push forward, even if Rapl can kill off this home town center. If Kimo gets this town center for himself, he's still 3-2 town center advantage, and that's a lot to overcome for the Norse player for sure. We see more attempted towers over here, but Kimo's already got his guard tower up here. And Rapl pushing forward as best as he possibly can, but guard tower's out, and Crenellations is through as well, so we'll see how it's going to go. We've got 5 ballista though. 5 Rapilian ballista. That is what you are called when you are a part of the Rapl nation. Rapilian. 100%. And now we see the fortified town center getting taken down here as Kimo. He's not going to be able to he's not going to be able to defend this very. So we even see the Huskal coming through by Rapl to take the storehouse down. Now, unfortunately for Kimo, he needs to move away from this location a little bit. You can just leave a catapult villages here, towers up, make sure you've Petropolis hitting that, and then you need to defend this, because right now, losing this town center is huge. We see the Huskal coming through as well, able to start getting even more damage done to the town center. These ballista, even though you might laugh at them, there's 6 of them here. Big damage nonetheless, and this town center is not going to be staying up at all. Rapl manages to take it down. He's got the walls set up. We do see some Heliopolis coming in. A hoplite as well here. Now we see the huge attempt from Kimo to come in and try and completely annihilate the trade route of Rapl. But Rapple's already here. He's chasing around with cavalry. This is all Hypaspis, so the cavalry are going to do absolute work here. More buildings getting thrown up for Kimo on the front. Town center going to attempt to come back up, but it just simply put will not be able to with these ballista here. More units will come through for Rapl as well, I'm sure. As this big army here from Kimo seemingly dwindling, but it looks like Rapl not quite able to pick it all off here. Maybe just too many units here for Kimo. We're going to see a couple of trade caravans probably falling here as well. As we see Chimera coming in, town center denied. Start taking down these houses as another form of pushing forward. We see a forward temple coming up, maybe some frost giants to come in here as well. Help deal with the Heliopoli, the Chimera, everything else here would be very, very good. So we see the legendary Jarls popping out of this hill fort very, very quickly, doing all the good stuff. Oh, stray portable rams. Love this from Rapl. Very, very deathmatch-esque. as he's coming through, trying to take this fortified town center down. We do see Kimo noticing, though, with his villagers. This town center here going to get defended as well. Again, like if you've got like Huskar or something, you can push in with those, and then the villagers are not enough to deal with those, but the pacifists obviously are. So you see the town center still struggling to come back up. Only one baluster remaining here for Rapl, so he might be able to. So Kimo might be able to get this up if he deals with this baluster. But right now he's focusing on the wrong units. We can see this wall coming back up as well. Meanwhile, over here, we see the portable rams coming forward to take down the guard towers. Still not enough here for Rapl to get this up. Kimo has lots of resources in the back. We see 4 portable rams coming in here. Kimo not paying attention. This is absolutely huge by Rapl, but Kimo does turn around. Will get that damage done. These portable rams do have 258 HP, so the villagers, we need a lot of them to take them down, and more portable rams will be making their way in, and it's seemingly looking like the town center might be falling. Kimo might just be able to keep it alive, but this next portable ram comes in just clutch, just in time, and now Kimo is down to 1 town center. Somehow, some way, Kimo has lost himself 2 town centers in this game against the Northspire after being up 3-2 town centers. Well, the town center shoots back up as fast as it can. These Huskar can come in and deny this for a very, very long time. We see the portable ram falling, and now Rapl coming back in. Going to try and deny this town center for just as much as he can. He needs to get out a baluster or something here to deny this forever. This town center trying to get back up as well, but the baluster are out, and this town center is denied. This town center still also denied, as now we're seeing the infantry counters, the counter infantry being countered by the raiding cavalry Jarl, the cavalry coming in, and that's going to be enough to deny this town center as well. And now Kimo, 1 town center remaining, all his population is in economy, no way to fight back, and somehow, some way, 2 town center Rapl has managed to put a complete destructive course of action here into Kimo's base. 2 town centers down, getting himself back this town center as well, as Kimo is still trying to deny this town center from going up. And this town center has indeed been denied as well, and the villagers will fall suit very quickly afterwards. And still trying to get the town center back up over here, but still 1 baluster. 29 HP. 1 Gastropheedy could kill this very quickly though. Now all the villagers falling here. Kimo not able to get the town center up. And Rapl has got so many units in here now. And, I mean, he's still not able to get this town center up. It's kind of halfway there. The Perseus comes in to deal with those frost giants. But maybe it's time for Rapl to just go, give me all these villagers. Yep, exactly. Make some elf sark and just get in here and get this town center up. Start the villager production again. And live the dream. We do see the Heliopolis coming in, going to try and take down the baluster. And the town center might shoot back up, but then... I mean, is it going to be too little too late? Rapl's got a lot of resources in the bank. Kimo, on the other hand, very low on everything. No wood, little food. And I don't even think if he gets the town center up, he's going to get to population. Though he can jump straight back onto those farms. And the Toxotes falling. Pacifist falling. Town center coming up now for Rapl. He's getting this one up as well. And look, Rapl gets his 3rd back with a couple of Ulfsark, back up to 160 population. Trying to get back that 4th town center he had ages ago. Kimo gets his own home town center back. But this is going to forever be a problem for Kimo unless he clears it all out, because Rapl is just going to be able to sneak back in here, get this wall set back up, and then hit that baluster raid over and over again while this is still getting pressured. So, I mean, Rapl just needs to make sure he doesn't have idle units here, idle camel or ox caravans. All that stuff needs to be sorted. Town center coming back up yet again. Kimo wants 75 of 130 pop. We also see some raids now coming in onto the donkey caravans, and it's just looking like Kimo's economy in the 53rd minute of this game is absolutely shot here. And the town center coming up for Rapl. Rappl's economy, on the other hand, heaps of resources in the bank. Full upgrades, but so too would Kimo have full upgrades, but it just doesn't matter. There is no way to get back into. We do see a very, very nice wall here from Kimo to deny this trade route, but Rapl smartly just has a market over on the next, no, he doesn't. He has a market over here. No problems. But now Rapple's got 177, 180 pop. He can start moving forward onto this position here, cutting the trade off. And Kimo still has to worry about Ballister. We've got the Frost Giants here. We've got the Ballister here taking down the town center. And in the 53rd minute of this game, Kimo does decide to tap out. GG. Well played by Rapl. Wowzers. What an absolute game here. It had everything. We had the aggressive town center grab from Rapl. 4 town centers here. We had the longest underworld I've ever seen existing here with nothing around it, mind you, by Kimo. We had the earthquake that caused absolute chaos in Rapple's economy. And then the town center falling and seemingly in that position. Seemingly like normally Norse loses those. But not only that, then this town center falls. But while that all goes on, Rapl is busy putting pressure elsewhere. He's attacking the home town center, making sure that he's attacking his opponent where he is weak. This was absolute beautiful game by both players, mind you. No Titans, no wonders. Very, very little in the way of wall spammage. Just absolute fun times. Raids everywhere. Absolute chaos. GG. Well played. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.